What did you think about it when Dr. D slapped that reporter?
You know, I never knew that guy.
Dr. D, really?
I never really knew him. By the time I got there, he was gone. And the but I would say this. I mean, uh, that would be an old school response, and I loved it. It's kind of like, you're sitting here, you want to interview me, and you're just in my face, telling me that my business is phony. And that's when he slapped the guy. Did that feel like it was fake?
The look on Dr. D's face as this conversation is going on too, it's like I almost want to tell John Stossel, like, just shut up. Like, don't stop talking. This dude's about to get violent with you. You can just see it written on his face. And then
Yeah,
he just keeps pushing. And I mean, hard to blame Dr. D. I know it cost
yeah,
him an awful lot of money
yeah,
and certainly cost him probably what would have been greater fame. But man, he was protecting the business.
yeah, yeah. And again, I mean, that goes back to the guy who's doing the interview. It's almost like, approaching a wrestler, and you know, it's almost like, okay, wrestling is show business, and pretty much the whole world knows that. And of course, they know it now for sure. And of course, there was a time when it's kind of like, if you went to a magic show today, that guy out there doesn't really have the ability to make an elephant disappear,
Right.
or a car, or whatever, but he did. And then you go, the intrigue is, how the hell did he do that? I mean, now it's keeping people in that place of suspended disbelief, where
Ab- absolutely.
like today, if you walk into a movie theater, you're going to a movie, but when you sit down, if the actors that are on that screen are really good at what they do, they draw you into the story they're telling, and they can make you cry, they can make you angry, they can make you laugh. I mean, that's the deal. Well, and it's the same thing with wrestling. So, John Stossel, don't come in and try and basically make us look like a bunch of dumbasses.
Yep.
Oh, it's just, you guys aren't really getting hurt. Really? How many power slams have you taken? How many backdrops have you taken? How many times have you been slammed on the mat? I'm not landing on a trampoline out there. I'm landing on yeah, it's a ring. It gets a little give. We'll come out here on the floor. I'll show you a body slam on the floor too. I've been there. I've done that.
Sure.
That one hurts a little bit more, and I'm almost 70 years old, and I've had both my knees replaced. And that was cumulative. That was high school and college football. And like night after night after night, how many times have I fallen to my knees, or one knee, or who knows? But I had 2 discs taken out of my neck. There's a lot of wrestlers that have had that same surgery, because when you fall on your back, most of that is absorbed across the top of your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you keep your head tucked so you don't knock yourself out.
Yeah.
And it just becomes habit. But boom, 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 and basically what my doctor told me, he says, Teddy, says it was cumulative. This doesn't happen because just one night, oh, you hit wrong. You hit night after night after night after night. How many times? 10, 20 times a night. 300 so many nights a year, and eventually you messed up a disc. So I had back then they would take a bone chip out of your hip.
Mm-hmm.
And that they do it artificially now, but back then they take a bone chip out of your hip and replace the disc with that bone chip, and kind of fuse it to where you don't have as much movement, and then but now they use something artificial, you know. And I'll be honest with you, the place where they took the bone chip out of my hip, that hurt more than my neck did. It's just like, dang.
I mean,
But
nothing fake about the injuries that you guys suffered. So,
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was, you know, it's kind of like, uh, was the blood real? Well, the blood was real. It was self-inflicted most of the time,
mhm.
you know, but there were times it's like that one time I just saw that, it was it was the deal that where maybe it was where I turned, or you know, Murdoch got involved in it and everything, and you know, but I had hit it really hard and bled really. I mean, they had my head all wrapped up, and and then the bandage came off, and it was just every time my heart would beat, it would